Most people will never succeed. And do you know why? Because they only show up when they feel like it. That's the secret nobody talks about. The harsh truth, the bitter pill. You think motivation will save you. You think waiting for inspiration will change your life. It won't. Because motivation is a liar. It comes and goes like the wind. It whispers in your ear today and abandons you tomorrow. But consistency is what separates the winners from the forgotten. And let me tell you something, consistency is painful. It's forcing yourself to show up when you're exhausted. It's doing the work when no one is clapping. It's pushing forward when every fiber of your body is screaming to quit. So force yourself to be consistent. Because if you don't, you'll spend your life watching those who did. Motivation is the biggest lie you've ever believed. It tells you that one day you'll feel ready. One day you'll wake up inspired. One day the stars will align and you'll finally take action. But that day never comes. Because motivation is a scam. It's the reason people start and never finish. It's the reason dreams die before they ever see the light of reality. It gives you a false sense of progress, a temporary high that vanishes the moment life gets hard. Motivation is like a drug. It gives you a rush, a spark, a sudden surge of energy. But what happens when the high fades? You crash. You go back to your old habits, waiting for the next dose, waiting for another wave of inspiration that may never come. And while you're waiting, someone else is out there grinding, pushing, showing up even when they don't feel like it. That's why they win and you don't. Because they understand something you don't need. Motivation is nothing. Discipline is everything. Discipline is getting up when you'd rather sleep. It's working when you'd rather relax. It's showing up when every excuse in the world is telling you to quit. It's doing the thing not because you want to, but because you made a decision. A decision that does not depend on how you feel. A decision that does not wait for the right mood. A decision that does not break under the weight of laziness. Motivation is weak. It's soft. It's for people who dabble, not for people who dominate. If you only act when you feel motivated, you'll always be at the mercy of your emotion. You'll be controlled by how you feel instead of by what needs to be done. And that's why most people fail. Because they want to feel good before they take action. They want to be inspired before they move. But the truth is, action comes first. Feelings follow. A champion does not wait to feel like training. A winner does not wait to feel like working. A warrior does not wait to feel like fighting. They do it because it must be done. They do it because they refuse to be average. They do it because they understand that success is not about feelings, it's about consistency. If you let motivation dictate your actions, you'll always find an excuse to do nothing. You'll say, I don't feel like it today. And then tomorrow will be the same. And the next day. And before you know it, a week is gone. A month is gone. A year in the same place, wondering why your life never changed. Because you relied on something that was never meant to last. Look around you. The most successful people in the world are not the most motivated. They are the most disciplined. They don't wake up every day feeling inspired. They wake up every day and do what needs to be done, whether they feel like it or not. They push through the days when their energy is low. They fight through the moments when their mind is screaming to stop. They don't wait for the perfect moment. They create it. Motivation is a spark, but discipline is the fire. And a spark will never burn long enough to build anything great. A spark fades. A fire lasts, but only if you feed it. Only if you fuel it with relentless action. Only if you refuse to give in to the illusion that success is supposed to feel good. You've been tricked into believing that you need motivation to move. But the truth is, you need movement to create motivation. Action first, then inspiration. Action first, then energy. Action first, then momentum. But if you sit around waiting for the right feeling, you'll be waiting forever. Successful people don't have superhuman motivation. They have unbreakable habits. They don't rely on an emotional high. They rely on structure, on systems, on routines that force them to do what others won't. They don't need to feel good to take action. They take action, and then they feel good, because they understand that emotions are temporary but results are permanent. If you wait to feel like working, you'll never build the life you want. If you wait to feel like pushing, you'll never break through. If you wait to feel inspired, you'll watch your potential rot while someone else takes what could have been yours. Because while you hesitate, someone else is out there grinding. Someone else is out there building. Someone else is out there becoming the person you wish you were. The difference between the winners and everyone else is simple. Winners do what needs to be done, no matter how they feel. Losers wait until they feel like it, and that day never comes. And if you don't decide right now to break out of that pattern, you will always be one of them. There are two types of people in this world, those who control their actions and those who let their emotions control them. Which one are you? Are you the person who only moves when it's easy, only works when it's convenient, only pushes when it's comfortable? Or are you the person who forces themselves to act no matter what? because that's what it takes. It takes forcing yourself when your body is tired. It takes pushing yourself when your mind is screaming for comfort. It takes showing up when no one is watching, when no one is cheering, when no one is applauding your effort. Because success is not a feeling. It's a decision. And the moment you let motivation dictate that decision, you've already lost. If you keep waiting for the right time, the right feeling, the right mood, you will waste your entire life standing at the starting line. You will watch as those with less talent, less skill, and fewer advantages pass you by simply because they moved when you hesitated. Simply because they understood that action beats emotion. Simply because they refused to wait for the thing you've been waiting for your entire life. No one is coming to save you. No one is coming to push you. No one is coming to make you feel motivated every day. If you want it, you have to take it. If you want it, you have to do it. If you want it, you have to force yourself to move even when every part of you wants to stop. That's the truth. That's the secret. That's what nobody tells you. Motivation is not the answer. It never was. It never will be. The only thing that matters is whether you have the discipline to act when you don't feel like it. Because that is the only thing that separates the successful from the forgotten. Most people live their lives like a broken clock, only working when the conditions are perfect. They show up when they feel good. They take action when the mood is right. They push forward when it's easy. But success does not belong to those who move when they feel like it. It belongs to those who move no matter what. The weak wait for energy, for passion, for inspiration. The strong understand that action must come first. If you only show up when you're motivated, you will never accomplish anything that matters. Every dream you have, every goal you chase, every future you desire will demand more from you than you want to give. It will require effort on the days when you're exhausted. It will demand sacrifice when you don't feel like losing anything. It will test your patience when you want quick results. That's why most people never make it. They can only perform when the conditions are easy. But life is never easy. Life will hit you with doubt, distraction, and disappointment. It will throw every excuse in front of you. And if you only show up when you feel good, you'll break under the weight of that pressure. Your feelings are a trap. They will betray you when things get hard. They will convince you to take it easy, to slow down, to try again tomorrow. But tomorrow turns into never. Hesitation turns into regret. You look back and wonder why nothing changed. Because you waited for a feeling that never lasted long enough to carry you to success. The difference between those who succeed and those who never is never intelligence, never talent, never luck. It is the ability to force themselves to take action when every part of them wants to stop. If you want to win, you have to show up when you're tired. You have to work when you don't feel like working. You have to push when you'd rather quit. You have to keep moving forward when there's no applause, no recognition, no rewards. That's the price. That's what it takes. And most people are not willing to pay it. They want to feel good first. They want to be inspired first. They want the path to be smooth. But smooth paths never lead anywhere worth going. The best in the world are not always the most skilled. They are the most relentless. They refuse to let their feelings dictate their actions. They refuse to let their emotions decide their future. They refuse to let discomfort stop them. That's why they rise while others stay stuck. That's why they succeed while others make excuses. They do not rely on motivation. They rely on commitment. And commitment does not care about feeling. If you only work when it's convenient, you will always be outrun by those who work when it's hard. If you only grind when it feels good, you will always be left behind by those who grind when it hurts. If success demands effort on the days you want to rest, it demands discipline on the days you want to break. It demands movement when standing still feels easier. That is what separates the great from the forgotten. That is what determines whether your dreams become real or die in the graveyard of excuses. You cannot negotiate with yourself. You cannot wait for the right time. You cannot let your emotions control your effort. Your dreams do not care how you feel. Your goals do not wait for motivation to show up. Your future is not built on the days you feel good. It is built on the days you push through, the days you fight back, the days you up when no one else would. The world does not reward people who start strong. It rewards people who keep going. It rewards the ones who wake up tired and still put in the work. It rewards the ones who don't make excuses when things get tough. It rewards the ones who refuse to let their emotions decide their effort. Because effort is what separates winners from watchers. Effort is what turns dreams into reality. Effort is what makes the impossible possible. But only if you're willing to show up when you don't feel like it. Stop looking for inspiration. Stop waiting for motivation. Stop hoping for the perfect moment. There is no perfect moment. There is only now. There is only action. There is only the choice to push forward or fall behind. And if you keep waiting for a feeling to push you, you will wake up one day and realize you wasted your entire life standing still. Because the people who win in life are not the ones who always feel good. They are the ones who act no matter how they feel. Most people quit, not because they lack talent, not because they lack intelligence, but because they cannot handle the pain of showing up every day without immediate results. They expect success to be a straight road, a smooth path, a journey filled with motivation and excitement. But the truth is, success is brutal. It is ugly. It is lonely. It demands everything from you long before it gives anything back. That's why most people don't make it. Because they cannot handle the silence. They cannot handle the struggle. They cannot handle the weight of consistency when there is nothing to show for it yet. Everyone is excited when they start. The first day in the gym, the first step in business, the first attempt at a new goal, it feels good. It feels like progress, but then the days go by, the excitement fades, the progress slows. And suddenly the reality sets in. This is going to take longer than expected. This is going to hurt more than imagined. This is going to test everything inside. And that's when most people give up, not because they can't do it, but because they can't handle the process. They want the reward without the struggle. They want the results without the work. They want the transformation without the discipline. But that's not how this works. You don't get stronger without lifting heavy. You don't get better without repetition. You don't get ahead without sacrifice. Most people will never get where they want to be because they give up at the first sign of resistance. They stop when it gets hard. They slow down when they don't see progress fast enough. They walk away when it doesn't feel good anymore. And that is why they fail. The road to success is filled with empty gyms at 5 a.m., late nights grinding when everyone else is asleep, rejection after rejection, failure after failure, setbacks that make you question if it's even worth it. This is where most people break. This is where dreams die. This is where people decide that maybe they weren't meant for more. But it's not the universe deciding that for them. It's not fate. It's not destiny. It's their own weakness. It's their inability to handle the pain of consistency when results are invisible. Everyone wants to be successful, but few are willing to embrace the suffering that comes with it. Few are willing to push through the days when doubt is louder than belief. Few are willing to sacrifice their comfort, their distractions, their bad habits, their excuses. Because it's easy to talk about success, it's easy to dream about the future. It's easy to get excited about the idea of winning. But when it's time to put in the work, most people disappear. They disappear because they thought it would be easy. They disappear because they expected motivation to carry them through. They disappear because they never trained themselves to endure the pain that comes with doing something great. And that is why they will always remain average. Because the moment things got difficult, they let the pain win. Pain is the price. Frustration is the price. Boredom is the price. Repetition is the price. And if you are not willing to pay that price every single day, you will never get what you want. Because this game is not about talent. It's not about who has the best ideas. It's not about luck. It's about who can last the longest. It's about who can take the most punches and keep moving forward. It's about who can force themselves to show up when everything inside is screaming to quit. The difference between those who succeed and those who fail is simple. The successful refuse to stop. They refuse to back down. They refuse to listen to their feelings when their feelings tell them to take it easy. They wake up tired and work anyway. They feel uninspired and show up anyway. They don't wait for permission. They don't wait for motivation. They don't wait for the perfect moment. They create it. The people who fail at their goals are not less capable. They are not less intelligent. They are not less talented. They simply do not have the stomach for the pain required to win. They cannot handle the lonely nights of grinding while everyone else is comfortable. They cannot handle the frustration of slow progress. They cannot handle the exhaustion of pushing forward when nothing seems to be working. And because they cannot handle it, they walk away. But the few who endure, those are the ones who win. Those are the ones who break through. Those are the ones who wake up one day and realize they have built something incredible because they refused to quit when quitting was the easiest option. The world belongs to those who stay the course when most people would rather take the exit. The future is owned by those who can keep moving when most people would rather stand still. If you are waiting for the process to be easy, you will never make it. If you are expecting the journey to be comfortable, you will always be disappointed. If you are hoping for a path that does not test you, you are not ready for success. Because success is not given, it is earned. And it is only earned by those who are willing to suffer through the pain of consistency when there is no immediate reward. That is the truth. That is the difference. That is what separates those who make it from those who don't. Most people believe success is about being gifted, being smart, being lucky. But that's the greatest lie ever told. Success has nothing to do with talent. It has nothing to do with intelligence. It has nothing to do with luck. It has everything to do with repetition. Everything to do with discipline. Everything to do with doing the same thing over and over again until mastery is no longer a choice, but a result. The people who win are not the people who are born with something special. They are the people who committed to doing the work even when the work was exhausting, even when the work was painful, even when the work was tedious. Repetition is the foundation of greatness. It's the weightlifter who trains every day before sunrise. It's the musician who plays the same notes until their fingers bleed. It's the entrepreneur who grinds in silence while everyone else is celebrating their weekend. The world does not reward those who dabble. It does not reward those who try for a while and then quit. It rewards those who embrace the boring, those who commit to the grind, those who understand that excellence is nothing more than doing the same thing thousand times until perfection is inevitable. Most people never reach their full potential because they get bored too quickly. They start something, and the moment it feels repetitive, they stop. They want something new, something exciting, something fresh. But the truth is, success is not exciting. Success is not glamorous. Success is built in the dull, unremarkable, unseen moments of relentless practice. It's the hours spent alone, repeating the same actions while the rest of the world is looking for shortcuts. Repetition is what turns weakness into strength. It is what turns the ordinary into the unstoppable. It is what takes a beginner and transforms them into a master. But most people will never experience that transformation because they don't have the patience to stick with something long enough to see it through. They quit before the breakthrough. They stop before the mastery. They walk away before the results appear. And that is why they remain average. If you are waiting to feel excited about the work every day, you will never be great. If you expect to wake up motivated every morning, you will never build anything meaningful. The best in the world do not rely on motivation. They rely on consistency. They rely on systems. They rely on showing up no matter how they feel, because they understand that discipline will take them places motivation never could. Repetition builds confidence. Repetition builds resilience. Repetition builds the kind of mental toughness that separates those who make history from those who watch it happen. But the cost of that repetition is discomfort. The cost of that repetition is sacrifice. The cost of that repetition is being willing to do the same thing over and over again, long after everyone else has given up. The weak cannot handle repetition. They want variety. They want shortcuts. They want a way out. But there is no way out. There is only the grind. There is only the work. There is only decision to either keep pushing forward or to settle for mediocrity like everyone else. And that decision is what defines everything. Repetition does not ask how you feel. It does not care if you are tired. It does not care if you are uninspired. It does not wait for the perfect move. It demands that you show up regardless. It demands that you put in the effort, whether you feel like it or not. It demands that you embrace the process, even when the process feels like it's moving too slowly. Because success does not happen in a single moment. It happens in 1,000 repetitions that no one sees. The greatest athletes in the world do not practice once in a while. They practice every day. The greatest artists do not create only when they feel inspired. They create every day. The greatest minds do not think only when it is convenient. They think every day. Because they understand that mastery is not a choice. Mastery is a requirement. And mastery is built through endless repetition. Repetition is what separates the elite from the average. The elite do not complain about doing the same thing every day. They understand that repetition is the key to dominance. They understand that repetition is the price of perfection. They understand that the only way to rise above everyone else is to be willing to do the work that everyone else refuses to do. Most people are not willing to pay that price. They want results without repetition. They want growth without struggle. They want to be great without putting in the hours. But the truth is, there is no way around it. There is no shortcut. There is no hack. There is only the grind, the discipline, the commitment to repeating the process day after day, even when it feels like nothing is happening. The repetition is what makes the difference between success and failure. It is what makes the difference between those who rise and those who remain stuck. It is what makes the difference between those who live their dreams and those who spend their lives wishing they had the discipline to do what was necessary. And in the end, the only question that matters is this: will you do the work even when the work is hard? Will you keep going even when progress is invisible? Will you commit to repetition even when it feels like it's not paying off? Because that is the only thing that separates the winners from the rest. The world does not reward effort. It rewards persistence. It does not care how hard you tried. It does not care how much you wanted it. It only cares about one thing: did you last long enough to win? Most people don't. Most people start strong, full of excitement, full of motivation, full of dreams. But when reality hits, when progress slows, when obstacles appear, they stop. They tell themselves they tried their best. They tell themselves it wasn't meant to be. But the truth is, they didn't fail because they weren't good enough. They failed because they weren't consistent enough. The world is not impressed by those who start. It is impressed by those who finish. Millions of people start businesses. Millions of people start fitness journeys. Millions of people start working on their goals. But how many stay the course? How many keep going when the excitement fades? How many push forward when the results don't come as fast as they expected? That number is small. That is why success is rare. That is why most people live with regret. That is why so few ever reach the life they dream about, because they stop too soon. The ones who win are not always the smartest. They are not always the most talented. They are not always the most gifted, but they are always the most relentless. They refuse to quit. They refuse to accept failure as the final answer. They refuse to let temporary struggle turn into permanent defeat. They do not rely on motivation. They do not need encouragement. They do not wait for inspiration. They show up, they grind, they fight. And because of that, they win. Effort without persistence is wasted energy. Anyone can work hard for a day. Anyone can stay disciplined for a week. Anyone can push through for a month. But what happens when the months turn into years? What happens when the results don't come as fast as expected? What happens when success takes longer than you were prepared for? That is where most people break. That is where most people walk away. That is where most people settle for a life less than what they are capable of living. The world does not give success to those who try. It gives success to those who refuse to surrender. It does not open doors for those who knock once. It opens doors for those who keep knocking until they break through. It does not reward temporary effort. It rewards permanent action. The weak will always look for an excuse to stop. The strong will always look for a reason to continue. And that is what makes all the difference. Persistence is what turns setbacks into stepping stones. It is what turns failure into progress. It is what turns rejection into fuel. Most people cannot handle rejection. They take it as a sign to quit. They take it as a reason to stop. But rejection is not a wall. It is a test. It is a filter. It is a way of separating those who actually want success from those who just like the idea of it. Every great success story is built on persistence. Every champion has faced failure. Every winner has been knocked down. Every legend has been told no more times than they can count. But the reason they are remembered is because they kept going. They did not stop at failure. They did not stop at rejection. They did not stop when things got hard. They pushed through. They found another way. They kept moving forward. And because of that, they broke through. The problem with most people is they expect the road to be easy. They expect progress to be fast. They expect results to come quickly. And when that doesn't happen, they lose interest. They give up. They assume it wasn't meant to be. But the ones who make it, the ones who truly succeed, never think like that. They expect the road to be long. They expect the journey to be painful. They expect the process to be slow. And they are prepared for it. They do not break under pressure. They thrive in it. If you are not willing to be persistent, you will never get what you want. If you are not willing to keep pushing when everything is against you, you will never rise. If you are not willing to suffer through the slow, painful grind of consistency, you will never separate yourself from the rest. The difference between the winners and the watchers is simple. The winners keep going long after everyone else has given up. The winners do not care how long it takes. The winners do not care how many times they fail. The winners only care about one thing: getting to the finish line. Success does not belong to those who work the hardest for a short time. It belongs to those who keep going the longest. It belongs to those who refuse to quit when quitting is the easiest option. It belongs to those who do not stop until they get what they came for. That is what makes the difference. That is what separates the few from the many. That is what determines whether your dreams stay dreams or become reality. And in the end, the only question that matters is this: will you persist? Or will you be like everyone else who gave up too soon? Most people will never reach their potential because they are addicted to comfort. They want success, but they don't want discomfort. They want greatness, but they don't want struggle. They want to win, but they don't want to suffer for it. And that is why they will always remain stuck. The ones who rise, the ones who dominate, the ones who leave a legacy are the ones who force themselves to keep going when every part of them wants to stop. They have trained themselves to act without hesitation. They do not wait for energy. They do not wait for inspiration. They do not wait for the perfect moment. They move now. They execute now. They push forward now. Weakness is hesitation. Weakness is waiting for the right time. Weakness is stopping when things get hard. And weakness is the only thing standing between you and the life you want. If you cannot control your mind, your emotions will control your future. If you cannot force yourself to act, you will be left behind by those who can. The world does not wait for those who hesitate. It moves forward with those who refuse to stand still. There will never be a perfect time. There will never be an easy path. There will never be a moment where everything falls into place without resistance. The ones who win are not the ones who wait for the right conditions. They are the ones who act despite the wrong conditions. They move when they are tired. They work when they are uninspired. They push forward when everything around them is telling them to stop. Discipline is the ability to override your emotions. It is the ability to move forward even when your body is screaming to quit. It is the ability to keep working when motivation is gone. And that is what separates the strong from the weak. The weak listen to their feelings. The weak obey their doubts. The weak wait for something to push them. The strong push themselves. The strong do not ask for permission. The strong do not care about comfort. The strong understand that success is never given. It is taken. And the only way to take it is through relentless, unshakable action. There will be days when you feel exhausted. There will be days when you doubt yourself. There will be days when your progress is invisible. Those are the days that define you. Those are the moments that separate those who succeed from those who stay stuck. Anyone can work when they feel good. Anyone can grind when they are motivated. Anyone can push forward when things are easy. But the real test is whether you can keep going when everything inside of you wants to stop. Your body will beg you to rest. Your mind will give you excuses. Your emotions will try to convince you that it's okay to slow down. That is the moment you must push harder. That is the moment you must take control. That is the moment where most people quit and where you must choose to rise. Success is not built in the moments where you feel strong. It is built in the moments where you feel weak and keep going anyway. Most people lose because they give themselves an option to quit. They leave an escape route. They tell themselves they will try again tomorrow. But tomorrow turns into never. Tomorrow turns into regret. Tomorrow turns into a life of wondering what could have been. The strong do not leave doors open for weakness. They burn the bridges behind them. They remove the option of failure. They do not give themselves a choice to stop. The most dangerous thing you can do is hesitate. The most deadly mistake you can make is to wait for motivation. The moment you start thinking about whether or not you should act, you have already lost. Your mind will always choose comfort over growth. Your emotions will always choose safety over progress. Your body will always choose ease over effort. And if you let them control you, you will never move forward. You must train yourself to act before your mind talks you out of it. You must train yourself to push before hesitation has a chance to stop you. The difference between success and failure is not luck. It is not talent. It is not intelligence. It is execution. It is action. It is the ability to move forward without waiting to feel ready. Most people never achieve anything because they never force themselves to take the first step. They wait. They hesitate. They plan. And while they are waiting, while they are hesitating, while they are overthinking, the ones who are willing to act are already miles ahead. You do not need more time. You do not need more information. You do not need more motivation. You need action. You need movement. You need to push forward before your mind has a chance to stop you. If you do not control your thoughts will control you. If you do not force yourself to act, your emotions will keep you frozen in place. You must decide right now that hesitation is no longer an option. Every wait, every time you pause, every time you let doubt creep in, you are wasting time that could be spent moving forward. You are giving your dreams away to someone who is willing to act while you hesitate. You are letting fear rob you of the future you deserve. And the brutal truth is this: no one is coming to save you. No one is going to push you. No one is going to do the work for you. You either act or you lose. You either move or you get left behind. You either force yourself to execute or you watch someone else take everything you wanted. The strongest people in the world are not the ones who never feel doubt. They are not the ones who never feel tired. They are not the ones who never feel fear. They are the ones who act anyway. They are the ones who force themselves no matter how they feel. They are the ones who do not let hesitation steal their potential. And because of that, they win. Because of that, they dominate. Because of that, they get everything they were willing to fight for. Most people live their lives as prisoners to hesitation. They live with ideas they never executed, dreams they never chased, goals they never started. And at the end of their lives, they look back and realize that their greatest enemy was never the world. It was never their circumstances. It was never their talent. It was their own hesitation. And by the time they understand that, it is too late. They are out of time. They are out of chances. They are left with nothing but regret. Right now, in this moment, you have a choice. You can continue to wait. You can continue to hesitate. You can continue to let fear control you. Or you can act. You can push. You can force yourself to move forward even when every part of you wants to stay still. And if you choose action, if you choose execution, if you choose to be relentless, nothing will be able to stop you. Nothing will be able to hold you back. Nothing will be able to keep you from becoming everything you were meant to be.